We are camped in the Great Salt Flats, and it is the middle of the desert. So the question is, how do we survive out here? There's our camper, and it is totally self-sufficient. How do we get utilities? That is, internet, water, electricity, and sewer, and how long can we last? So let's start out by talking about electricity. The simplest way of getting electricity, and that is plugging it in. Here is our ginormous power cord. You see the 4 prongs on there? That is for 50 amps, and 50 amps is a lot of power. With 50 amps, we can run both of our air conditioners and our microwave and like 2 space heaters. You'd never run the air conditioners and the space heaters at the same time, but I'm just saying, that's a lot of power. But some parks, like state parks, might only have 30 amp. So we have an adapter for that. And then we also have a 20 amp adapter, like if we're just mooch stocking at a friend's house or something and just plug into a normal outlet. Now, obviously, with only 30 or 20 amps, we have to watch the control panel and see how many amps we're drawing at one time. So, like when we were hooked up to my parents' place, I had to make sure all the space heaters were off before I ran the microwave, or we'd trip the circuit. So plugging in, that's called shore power. Shore power, everything is boat nautical terms, so it's like you're on shore and you can plug in. So that's one way of getting electricity. I climbed up that cliff yesterday. It was so awesome, and there's fossils everywhere and it's super cool. Anyway, right next to that is the generator. And this is a 5500, which means it gets the same power as 50 amps. So if we run this thing, it's just like being plugged into 50 amps. We can run everything in the RV. It does take up gas, but not a whole lot of gas. Like, it's actually 0.6 gallons per hour. So let's say it's half a gallon per hour. At $4 a gallon, that's $2 an hour. So even if we ran it for 24 hours, that'd only be $48 a day for running it all day long. That's like the low end price of staying at an RV park anyway. Like, most RV parks are like 40 to 60, even up to like $100 or so a night. And we don't run it all day long. We ran it all night long because we knew it was gonna get cold, and we had the space heaters running. And then I used the toaster this morning and stuff. But yeah, so it's not that much when you compare it to the cost of staying at an RV park. Now, it is also kind of loud, and the fumes can be a little stinky. So this is why a lot of full-timers end up going for solar power. And we might do that eventually, especially if we're staying places like this with lots of sunshine and open sky. You can really make use of solar in a place like this. But the cost of getting it up and running is thousands, like $10,000. So we have to know for sure that we're gonna use it for, at least like 2 years to get a return on investment there. So we have the power cord, we have the generator. What else do we have for power? Batteries. Our batteries are actually, believe it or not, under our stair. Oh, I gotta move the little treasure box here. Under our step. So here we have 3 different batteries. This one is our car battery, and these 2 are our house batteries. The house batteries run a few basic things in the RV. One thing they run is the lights. So I can turn on any lights on battery power. And I replaced all the lights with LED bulbs so that they don't draw as much power. It runs the refrigerator, even though the refrigerator runs on propane and needs a little electricity. And same with the propane heater. It's propane, but it needs a little electricity to run the fan. Also the slide outs and the power awning. So those are the things that our batteries run. And that's all they would run, except we also have an inverter. It has 2 plugins in the back, and one of the plugins I plug this power strip into for a kid's charging station. This is for all the kids' iPads and such. And it also powers an outlet in our bedroom. Originally, the inverter was just to power the television, so you can watch TV without running your generator or anything. We have our internet router plugged into this outlet, and also a power strip for our charging station. So this is my desk, and I have my screen plugged into there, and my computer, my phone. Anything I need to charge can be plugged into that power strip during the day when we are operating on battery power. Now, even though electronic devices don't take that much power, it does drain the battery. And I can check the battery levels by doing this. See, right now it says 2/3 full. That just means it's not all the way full. And you never want to let the battery get below half full. How do we keep the battery charged? One way is to run the generator. If the batteries are getting low, we can run the generator for a while and it recharges them. Another way, which charges it a lot faster, is to run the actual engine. And that charges it a lot faster, but it also uses more gas. Now, a third way is solar power. I actually bought a little portable solar panel. Isn't that great? Getting power from the sun. And I put it on the south side of our RV. So that should be in the sun all day long as the sun travels through the sky from east to west. See, there's a little guy camping over there too in his tent. Okay, so that's how we get power in our RV. Now what about internet? I actually did make a video about how we do internet, our mobile internet setup, and you can check that out for more details. But basically, before we come to a place like this, I check the coverage map. As soon as we got here, I did an internet speed test because, you know, we have meetings, we have things to do for work, and we want fast internet. This is our router we have hooked up here, and it did work pretty well with just the antennas that came with it, but we did decide to upgrade to a MIMO antenna. Now it's supposed to be a roof-mounted antenna, and obviously I've not put it up on the roof yet. I'm a little bit nervous about drilling holes in our roof for some reason, but we'll probably get there someday. So that is our internet setup. What about water? Water is another necessity. This rig comes with a 70-gallon freshwater tank. There it is back there. That's our freshwater. It looks a little more than half full right now, but you can actually tell on the control panel how full it is as well. You guys having breakfast?
And just said a hand.
So freshwater, oh, see it kind of flickered from 2/3 to 1/3. When it's half full, the sensors get confused because, like, is it 2/3 or 1/3? There's 6 of us living in here. And I figure, like, every day to do the dishes for all of us throughout the day, take about 2, 4, maybe 5 gallons of water. Then there's washing hands and brushing teeth, 4 gallons for all of that, maybe. And then there's how much water we drink. And I think the 6 of us actually drink quite a bit of water. I feel like I'm just filling up water bottles all day long. But to make our tanks last longer, we actually bought gallon jugs of water from Walmart. And they are only like 80 cents a piece. And it helps extend our water tank life. We find we can make it like 4 days. So this is where we hook up our water hose. And then we have a choice here whether to do city fill or water tank fill when we're hooked up. Now on city fill, it's going to just fill our lines with water, put pressure in the lines, and we're just going to use the water. Otherwise, we're going to fill our water tank. And then over here is where I have my freshwater hose with a bunch of blocks in it, apparently. We have a pre-filter that filters to 20 microns and post filter, I guess, that filters to 1 micron. But obviously we're not hooked up right now. We are using our water tank. Another way we can preserve water is by not showering so much. We've gotten more in like the camping mindset where, you know, going a few days without a shower is just fine. Now we are using a lot less water than we used to because we no longer have to flush a toilet. We decided we did not want to have to empty our black tanks all the time, and we also wanted to get our water to last longer. So I ended up building a composting toilet, and here it is. I actually did make another video that goes into details of how I designed and made the toilet. So if you want to know more about the composting toilet, you can see that video. But basically it uses no water, and we have no black tank that we need to dump. Before I installed it, we had to dump our black tank like every 2 or 3 days. So that definitely simplified our life by not having to dump a black tank, and also by preserving water. Really, in a 70-gallon tank, it used up half of our water, literally flushing the toilet all day long. Now there is another tank besides the black tank. It's the gray water tank. That's where all the water from the sink and the shower, the sinks and the shower goes. So it is mostly clean, and we really can dump it out here if we want. I mean, this land is in need of some water anyway, but basically we would hook up our other hose, our gray water hose, which is in here. So that orange hose is our gray water hose, and we would hook it up actually to this valve, this spigot, run it out into the dirt or the grass somewhere, and then release the gray holding tank. Release this valve and then this extra valve down here. And it would just empty into the dirt or grass. If I could get it to the grass, that would be nice. The grass would be very happy about that, but I think it would end up being in the dirt here. So those are all our systems. That was electricity, internet, water, sewer, and that is how we can live out in the desert. Ooh, I gotta get those bikes down so we can ride around a little bit. And see that white stuff over there? That is not snow. That is salt. We are at the Great Salt Flats of Utah right now. And we're gonna be out here for a few days. So we'll see how we do. We're gonna be living and working, and this is gonna be our yard for a while.